fingers, loose clothing, hair, any of that stuff in any of these spinning things can get really bad. This wheel weighs about I'd say 90 pounds or so, which doesn't seem like a lot, but the rotational energy on it will twist you up like a pretzel. And so it's a very serious machine. Just be aware of that. So tie your hair up. Make sure you don't. I'm here with my t-shirt all hanging out and shit, but don't do that. So tuck in your clothes. If you're gonna work with gloves on, work with like latex gloves or something where if something does grab on the press, it'll tear the glove and not your the basic operation here is we'll start from here. Actually, no, we'll start from closed. Okay. So these are our roller arms, and we have 3 rubber rollers. It is of utmost importance that we take care of these because they're not made anymore. So getting these re-rubberized is like $500 per roller. They're really hard to find. So anyway, those guys will go across here. So if you'll imagine 3 rollers here as I walk you through the. This is your ink disc, so this is where we'll put our raw ink on. Rollers roll over it, they'll roll down. Now our actual plate is going to be locked up in this chase here. Okay, so this is the chase. This is what we lock all our, we'll be locking the plate into it. You would lock your type into it after you composed and got it all looking good. Lock it into there with furniture, which I'll get to in a little bit. Anyway, so our rollers are rolling over the chase, inking our relief type, right? As this continues to spin, you then, at this point, we will put our paper in here. And we have little indexing pins here that allow you to just drop the paper in and it sits where it's supposed to. See, that will close up. If we are in the forward position, that type is going to clamp onto the paper, leave that impression with the ink, and then the entire process starts over. Okay. So it will be evident once we start printing exactly how this works. But it's sort of cool.
Someone in this town's hiding.
Let's see. Let's deal with locking this guy up. Thanks, man. So we have our chase. It's just a big iron frame, but it's sized very specifically for this press. This is a highfalutin copy of a CNP press, which is sort of the classic printing press that you would always see if you're watching, Old West movies or something. This is what people are cranking out propaganda on. So this is a highfalutin copy with a couple of extra bits and bobs on it. What we'll do is first we'll spray tack our boxcar. This is a boxcar. All it is a solid piece of metal at a very specific thickness. Okay. The thicknesses on this need to be accurate to about 1/1000 of an inch or so. Or they say they are. They don't have to be. Yeah, or so. Probably hundredths. So what we'll do for this is our polymer plate, just so everybody knows. Briar Press has this really cool printer where you give them a PDF and they send you this thing and it just has the relief on it. So what we are going to do, so making sure that you don't get spray mount all over your surface of your back. Just like that. And this guy. So anyway, once we trim the edges of this down to 6x9, the press will run 10x13, I believe. But your rollers tend to buckle as they go over the type, so you don't get even inking on it. So we did a 6x9 boxcar, which is pretty much a maximum size, the recommended maximum size for printing on that press.
Do you use the boxcar over and over again?
What's that?
You use the boxcar.
Yes, yeah. This is the important piece. And actually, you can use these polymer plates. You can use pretty much forever too. All right. So furniture. I've got some pieces here. And I've got a bunch more that lives down in this cabinet. So what you do is you put the wrench in, and as you see, it will open up a couple more points. Yeah, I know this thing's just rolling. I'll figure out how to stick it. I suspect once we run it through the press once, it'll press in.
How do you know that you're centering it?
Just visually, yeah. And what we'll do is we'll run a test print. We'll figure out where it is, and then we'll adjust the position of our paper. Because that's far easier than. Now, one of the nice things about using the boxcar is if you are using movable type, you have to get this locked in very tight. Well, you still have to get it locked in very tight, but you're locking against a solid block of metal, so it's you can have these extra spaces here, and purists may frown on it, but it's going to build that way. All right, so this one is tight enough in there. You should be able to take this and tighten it, and you'll see it locks in. So what you don't want to do when you're locking up like this, especially like on a boxcar or something, you've gotten this one tight, and that's good. What you don't want to do is interfere. So you don't want end wood touching side wood, and vice versa, because you're going to torque this one out of place. So just make sure that these aren't going to interfere with that. This guy goes in, locks up, and then
these little adjusty guys are how you make sure it stays on.
It stays tight, right. What we're going to do is we're going to put this guy in the press. And this is exactly how you want to do it. You want to hang it by your fingers here. There are 2 hooks at the bottom that this will rest in. And then press this, and it'll lock in right there. I'm going to go ahead. Whoops. I'm going to close this guy. Really get better spray tack. These guys. These are the rollers. The trucks on these are the trucks, just like a skateboard truck. Actually, very similar. But these are adjustable. It's a little rubber washer in there, and you can tighten these to adjust the height of the roller as it rolls on this track. Okay, which will, if it's too low, you're going to get it over inking and pressing ink into the form. If it's too high, you're not going to ink enough. So it's sort of a fight to figure out how exactly where it needs to go. We have some washers that will allow us to keep the roller steady. But anyway, so what you do here, and sort of a pain in the butt, you can either grab these or you can push from the bottom. There's a spring-loaded device and the roller goes on just like that. The upper ones, as you get grease on your hands, especially when you're dealing with the rollers, wipe it off before you touch the rubber on the roller. It's not an enormous problem. It's just it will prevent the roller from picking up ink, and then you'll have to clean them. And it's just yeah. So I've got 2 used sets and 1 pretty new set of these trucks.
Where did you store those?
What's that?
Where did I didn't see them.
Okay, yeah. So these live vertically
Yeah.
right here, and the truck's just
Okay.
nearby. And what you want to do, obviously, on these is work from either the top or the bottom and do each one in turn, so you're not trying to reach in there and grab, get between.
Why do you need 3?
The 3 just makes it ink a lot more evenly. One of the issues with doing a large surface area like this is as the first roller rolls over it, it's going to deposit ink on the thing, and then when it rolls all the way back around, everywhere where it's deposited ink from isn't going to get inked as evenly. So you have the 3 of them, and they sort of make up for each other on that. All right. So we're not going to put washers in yet. Roll this thing open and see if our clamping actually made a difference. We've got our ink here. Inks come with a sort of obnoxious little piece of paper on top of them. Keep them from drying. All these inks clean up with vegetable oil. So that's what we use to clean everything on the press. If something is really egregious and disgusting, you can use some mineral spirits on it, which I have over in the...
Are they oil-based?
What's that?
Are they oil-based inks?
Yes. But vegetable oil,
Yeah.
until they set, works perfectly fine. So, putty knife. And
where does the putty knife live?
Putty knife lives with all the other stuff.
Okay, great.
Okay. So, and this stuff is thick as shit. What we're going to do is we're going It's fantastic. All right, so we've inked. So what we're going to do now is take our roller, each of these, put the rubber band back around the can, and it will keep it sealed.
How long do they last?
These have lasted for a couple of years. I don't know what the actual.
Got it.
So, this guy, we're going to go over.
Everybody is even more satisfied.
We're just going to roll
Lauren's
this.
a little hotter.
All right, so we'll roll this out. So we are.
Whoa.
So we get it good and
This
even.
is better than making a pizza, man. For a
Mhm.
cake, even. Yeah.
All right, so we do that. Now what we're going to do is we're going to open up the press. All right, so we are not. You can see where it sort of splattered me here. We're going to open up the press. We're just going to run. We're going to start inking. Rolling that flat. You'll notice the disc indexes itself, so you'll eventually get the whole disc.
1870 something.
Yep. Now you'll see on our print there how a lot of the negative space is being inked.
Yeah.
that means that our rollers are too low. Okay, because we shouldn't be inking that. So what we're going to do is fix that. First off, is we're going to relieve a little bit of pressure on this arm here. We're going to center the roller on the track. Okay, and we're going to do that with all of them. Like that,
Yeah.
and like that. Okay, so now our rollers are all centered on the track, and what we're going to do is grab this big stack of washers. And all you need to do is, so they loosely fit in here. So this will be 3. This will be, and we'll do 1 there. 1, that one's fine. Probably 3. Oh, shit, I'm out of washers. We'll do 2, 2, 2 on this other side.
Will you explain again how the washers make it sit differently?
Okay, so here's the deal with my hands. So the trucks ride on this rail, right? And they keep the roller at a constant height. The issue, though, is because these trucks are adjustable, when you adjust the height of the roller upwards by squeezing them in, that truck gets thinner.
Okay.
So the reason we're putting these washers in are to keep them from drifting off of the track and losing the height. The height will be variable, and that'll determine. But you can line them up on the tracks pretty well. It's just a little bit sloppy after 140 years. So now what we're going to do is we're going to get in here and crank these things a little bit. Maybe I don't know. Let's see. We engaged on that one. You can see what the image is here. So because it's over inked right now and the rollers are too deep, that's why we're getting just indistinct lines. But what we can do is look at that, figure out exactly how much we need to raise. So we're getting, but so most of it looks pretty good. It's over inked. Some of that,
The name
some.
at the bottom.
What's that?
Name at the bottom.
Yeah, it's over inked here, and it's getting into. Okay.
The whole.
Yeah, and it's popping up a little bit. I think that's why we're getting like this outline. Now it's just that the tack or the spray tack isn't holding it to the boxcar properly. This guy out. Here, clean it off. So if I could get somebody. Okay. So the proper way to do this is there is a roller gauge that you set into this this area where the chase sits, and you roll the rollers over it, and they should just leave a line on the roller gauge. And if they leave more than a line, then you're over inking. I don't have one of those roller gauges. is. So we do it by eye.
And so once you put the washers on, you have to tighten them. Is that what you're doing now?
I'm raising. What I'm doing right now is raising the roller height
Okay.
so that they aren't over inking.
So it's not actually touching the washers, it's touching the thing on the side of them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
If you wanted to
What you're doing
Somebody got it there.
when you turn these is both of them are acting at the same time, so they're essentially equalizing the pressure.
Oh,
So
so you don't
if we assume that the rubber is essentially the same
Density.
density, yeah, then they should be.
Okay.
Um, all right. Got that guy on there. These guys. I should have bought some washers, shouldn't I? Okay, so we are getting a little bit of print from this area here, which we can deal with probably just by cutting that area out.
Because you're not fully printing like through here in the design, right?
Right.
Are these more raised? That's what I was wondering.
Well, you're getting a little bit of slop here. Well, and newsprint sucks. It does not take inkwell.
Is it so absorbent?
What's that?
Is it because it's so absorbent?
Yeah. Well, and because it crushes. So like, yeah, it's.
Compressible. Are you printing it over and over? Yeah. Other thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, what I want to do.
Yeah, I think we're making like 100.
100.
What I want to do is I think we need more of where you want your paper to be, and then all you do is put a little slit in your backing paper, and these things just
Just slide right in.
slide right in. They have a little point there. Yeah.
Yeah, we measured it and then I saw him slicing it, but I didn't know why.
Oh, okay.
But it's for those pins.
Yeah.
So now you can just slot the paper down.
Right,
and
exactly.
it'll
And I'm
hold
going to get two more. I'm going to put them over here on this side because we have our 2 points defined here. I'm going to put them on this side so you'll be able to slide the paper in and it'll index properly.